Hello everyone and welcome back to my B&B Everyday YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Carter Walton to face off with Rich Forrester. Away, Taylor Hayes and Steffi Forrester Finnegan talk about Brooke Logan's docket. Carter to reel over Hope Logan's outburst. Carter allowed. He could be open and honest with Hope. So, Carter opened up about what was really chivying him and confessed that the preemption felt wrong. Carter wanted both of them to apologize to Ridge and Steffi. Still, Hope wasn't going to do that and had a bit of an outburst. When Carter tried to offer Hope the special jewels, she said effects can't go back to the way they were. Also, she ran out. Still, Taylor and Steffi will also talk about Brooke's true intentions. They reason that Brooke is doing all of this just to get Ridge back. When Ridge entered the office at Forrester Creations, Hope had left Carter with blood on his hand literally. After Hope left, Ridge saw Carter. Ridge simply said that heavy is he who wears the crown. This could be a good occasion for Carter to do what his heart wants, just apologize and hand the company back over. It's only Carter's name on the documents, so he really doesn't need Hope to make effects right. Taylor and Steffi will dish about Brooke. Steffi might modernize Taylor about Brooke running out when effects got hot. With Hope, Steffi might also tell Taylor that indeed Brooke seems to be turning against her own son. Well, it seems that Carter's mind is starting to shift, and now with Hope running out, the company could return to its due possessors. Still, Carter gets a bit stubborn and stands his ground with Ridge. Steffi learns the verity about Luna Nozawa's father. John Finnegan will probably want to have some kind of contact with Luna, indeed though she's an internee. Still, between Luna and Sheila Carter Sharp, it might be too important for Shin to survive. Hope and Steffi disaccorded in Forrester's design office, as Hope begrudged Steffi's recrimination that Brooke was unfit to lead the company. Steffi clarified that she only meant Brooke had suffered the consequences of Hope's conduct, which led to Ridge and Eric being pushed out of the company. Hope claimed that this was the new reality of Forrester Creations, and that Steffi would have to accept it. Meanwhile, in the main office, Brooke brazened Carter, who felt uneasy about the way effects had unfolded. He expressed remorse over how Ridge had dismissed his ideas, but Brooke assured him that Ridge had always valued him. On Valentine's Day, both of them set up themselves craving for the man they adore. At the Forrester manse, Eric raised his frustration about being ousted from the company. As they watched the jewelry line launch, Ridge conceded his father's donation but lamented their lack of credit. Finn, working late at the sanitarium, texted Steffi apologizing for missing the evening. Still, he was also preoccupied with a secret, and he demanded to tell Steffi that Luna was his son. He called to hear Steffi's voice and reiterated that they demanded to talk. As the jewelry line debuted, Hope delivered a speech emphasizing Carter's leadership in this new chapter of Forrester. While the figures looked promising, Carter's mood was not. Formerly alone with Hope, admitted their palm felt concave without the Forresters. Hope was stunned when Carter suggested apologizing to Ridge and Steffi, averring they had been wronged. Pressures escalated as Carter scuffled with his heart, feeling like a snake, while Hope refused to back down. As their argument reached its peak, she stormed out, and Carter's frustration boiled over. He threw a fit and smashed the rock. Heart from the choker he'd intended to give Hope. In that moment of fermentation, Ridge suddenly appeared, observing the weight of Carter's newfound power. At the Forrester manse, Eric, Ridge, and Taylor bandied the fallout of Carter's treason. Ridge was worried, unfit to believe Carter's conduct, and both he and Eric expressed unbelief that Brooke had sided with him. Taylor, still, was hopeful that Steffi had a plan to reclaim Forrester Creations, and she believed Carter could return to his old tone with the right stimulant. She emphasized that Steffi or Daphne might be the key to appealing to Carter's heart, though Eric remained skeptical. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations, Carter, Hope and Brooke were preparing for the jewelry line launch. Hope tried to cheer Carter up, assuring him that the launch would be a success. Still, Carter sounded distant, and Brooke changed a knowing look with him. In the design office, Steffi and Daphne Rose bandied their strategy to get Carter to see the error of his ways. Daphne Rose remained determined to help Steffi, but she also sounded intrigued by Carter's eventuality for change. Steffi's ultimate thing was to relieve Forrester Creations of the Logans formerly and for all, but Daphne believed Carter could rediscover himself. Pressures rose as Hope and Steffi disaccorded. Hope was confident that the preemption would be a success and prompted Steffi to accept the new reality. Steffi, still, refocused out the treason and the impact it had on her family's heritage. In the main office, Daphne brazened Carter, questioning whether he could truly celebrate his success knowing the cost of his conduct. She suggested that he was betraying his true tone, and Carter was left to consider the consequences of his opinions. Brooke, observing the pressure, also prompted Carter to review, expressing her own anguish over the loss of Ridge's trust. As the day unfolded, both Carter and Brooke sounded to realize the deep emotional risk the achievement had taken, but neither was ready to completely defy the counter-accusations of their choices. Poppy continued to contend with Finn to keep the secret, arguing that Steffi didn't need to know, but Finn felt that withholding the verity was insolvable. He reflected on the dark history in Luna's birth, given that both his birth mama, Sheila, and now his son had committed violent acts. Despite Poppy's asseveration, Finn declared that he'd to be honest. As Poppy left, Finn prepared himself for the ineluctable fallout. Soon later, Lee entered his office and noted Poppy's departure. She suspected that Poppy had commended in him about Luna's father, and expressed remorse over how she had treated both Poppy and Luna in the history. She conceded that Luna had grown up without a father and lamented that they still didn't know who he was. Meanwhile, Steffi commended in her parents about her struggles. She expressed gratefulness for Finn's support and love, but admitted that she was still visited by once traumas. Taylor encouraged her to reuse everything completely, rather than just abstracting herself with work at Forrester. Steffi conceded how delicate it was to accept that Finn's family had constantly put her in peril. Despite the challenges, she believed in their relationship and the strength they had erected together. Still, she also admitted that she couldn't shake the feeling that new obstacles would continue to test them. At Bill's house, Luna plotted with guilt and shame. She was thankful to avoid captivity but stressed Finn would no way see her the same way again. She had recreating agonies in which he and his family rejected her, though she held on to a faint stopgap that their bond could be rescued. Bill advised her that conciliation was doubtful, and advised her to concentrate on moving forward. When Poppy arrived suddenly, Luna hid and heated as her mama admitted her own shortcomings. Poppy revealed she had visited the captivity to see Luna, but was told she was no longer there. She stressed that Luna might not indeed want to see her. In her caching place, Luna lowered, doubtful of what to do next. Finn spent the morning at the Precipice House, deep in study about his recent discovery regarding Luna. Steffi appeared and noticed his distracted state, expressing her love for him before leaving for work. She comforted him that they could talk latterly, but Finn remained worried. Formerly alone, he agonized over how to tell Steffi that Luna was his son, stewing the impact it would have on their marriage. Meanwhile, at Il Giardino, Poppy was hopeless to reach Finn. Cleric, noticing her apprehension, approached and suspected about the risk Luna's conduct had taken on her. He conceded that, despite everything, she still loved her son. Deacon wondered if Luna's life would have turned out else had she known her father. When he refocused to a homage print of Tom and Hollis, Poppy became emotional and suddenly left. At Bill's place, Luna was surprised to hear that Finn had visited her in captivity. She reflected on their distant history, recalling how she had always respected him. Still, she assumed he'd only wanted to confirm that she was no longer a trouble. As she flashed back to holding Steffi and turned, she rumored and reasoned, hoping for remission. At the Forrester manse, Ridge and Taylor participated a romantic morning together, agitating their future. Steffi soon arrived and spoke about her anniversary with Finn, saying they had set everything away to concentrate on each other. The discussion shifted to Luna's crimes, and Steffi expressed her belief that she'd remain behind bars ever. Meanwhile, Poppy brazened Finn at his office, contending with him not to reveal Luna's lineage. Finn, still, was furious that he'd been denied the chance to be a father. He criticized Poppy for the desolation Luna had caused, including the deaths of 2 men. Despite her asseveration on moving forward, Finn remained adamant about telling Steffi the verity, indeed as he dreaded how much more she could endure. As he entered a loving textbook from Steffi, he looked deeply worried. Finn plotted with the maternity secret at the Precipice House while Steffi tasted commodity was troubling him. She encouraged him to partake his studies, still Finn dithered, believing the moment was right. Despite Steffi's continuity, Finn decided to keep the Verity to himself for the night, choosing rather to concentrate on their anniversary and everything they had overcome as a couple. Meanwhile, at Bill's place, Liam and Bill bandied Steffi and Finn's anniversary and everything they had endured. Liam plaintively recalled how he and Kelly had nearly lost Steffi due to Luna's conduct. Luna, who was hearkening from the murk, appeared regretful. Liam remained resentful, arguing that Luna had deceived him into believing she was his son. Bill still claimed that Luna was formerly paying for her crimes. Liam was undecided, still uneasy about Luna's once presence in Finn's home around the children. Bill comforted him that Luna was no longer a peril, as she was in captivity where she belonged. At the Forrester manse, Brooke brazened Ridge about his relationship with Taylor, expressing her disappointment over how snappily he'd turned to her. She contended with Ridge to work on their unborn together, emphasizing their unbreakable bond. Taylor entered the room and indicted Brooke of trying to manipulate Ridge into forgiving her. The discussion grew hot, with Brooke defending her support of Hope and Carter. After Brooke left, Ridge admitted to Taylor that he'd anticipated her to show guilt. Taylor still was unsurprised, pointing out that Brooke always prayed for remission after going too far. Latterly, at Forrester Creations, Brooke looked at the press release naming her CEO and came emotional, ignoring about her history with Ridge. She pledged no way to give up on their relationship.